Hi, we're back again.
We are back again. So after we finished the Star Trek vlog, Graham wanted to do another vlog that I'm going to give to him, and I'm more than happy to do so.
So we're going to do... We just finished watching, and I've already watched it, but this is Lewis's first time watching the season finale of season 7 of the revised Doctor Who series. The episode titled "The Name of the Doctor."
And yes, there will be spoilers.
Oh God, yes. Because I don't think we can talk about this without... I mean, you really can't talk and do a spoiler-free review of The Name of the Doctor. I mean, you know. But well, other than this, which was probably spoiler-free, you just knew they were not going to say his name.
Oh God, I would have been really disappointed if they
I think that would have just like killed, because the part of the fun of the show is the title of the show is Doctor Who, so it's a, if you know the name, then it ruins it, because it's the mystery of the title.
And honestly, there's no name that would ever be satisfying.
Yeah, I think even Stephen Moffat said that. So,
maybe John Smith.
So what have you thought of season 7 all together? I mean,
season 7 has been uneven, not in a bad sense. Hasn't been a single episode that I hated.
Did you not like I hate the split season where
the split season really did not help, especially with Clara's character, where she only gets like 6 or 7 episodes to develop before what happens in this episode.
So yeah, I mean, and it is really uneven because you have the first half of the season is the end of the Ponds.
It's a lot of it is You know what? Actually, this one helped a bit with the myth arc, tying things together better, because there's references to stuff now that we didn't realize were part of the myth arc.
Sure. So,
because that's been one of my problems. I like standalone episodes just fine, but because it's been all standalone episodes, it's kind of felt like there wasn't a lot to get invested in.
Yeah, I mean, we had some good episodes there. I mean, I unfortunately, part 2 is really in my memory, recent memory, because it's the most recent episodes. But I mean, I liked the dinosaurs on a spaceship episode. I really liked. I actually liked the last pond episode, which I can't remember. What is it called?
Angels in Manhattan. Angels Take Manhattan.
Angels Take Manhattan. That was a good episode too.
Had its ups and downs. Dinosaurs on a Spaceship was the breakout of that.
Yeah, it was really good. And this season 7 part 2, I really liked Cold War.
Cold War was good.
I really liked.
What was it that I really?
I loved the Snowman. The Christmas
Snowman was very
amazing.
Good. Christmas Carol in my mind is still the best Christmas episode they've done, but Snowman is pretty high up there. I like Christmas Carol the most. I thought it had the most emotion. I thought it was the most well written of all the Christmas stories.
It's Ebenezer Scrooge in space.
Yeah, but
with flying sharks.
But it was done really well.
I thought it was done well, but I don't know if it was. I would not put it up above the Snowman. I think the Snowman was a much better episode.
Yeah,
especially as a depressed Doctor coming back. The reveal of the new TARDIS console room. The Great Intelligence,
which, by the way, why does the Doctor not remember the Great Intelligence?
He does.
He doesn't, though. He still, even by this point, he doesn't remember that he fought him as the second Doctor.
Yes, he does. He makes comments about it in the Snowman. That he remembers.
No, he just says Great Intelligence. He doesn't quite recall it.
He recalls it, but he's not quite sure it was the same thing. And now it's pretty much confirmed. I mean, he does know. I mean, I'm not
wibbly wobbly.
Wibbly wobbly timeline.
Either way, anyway.
I'm trying to think about the rest of the season. The first episode of the season was what started the Clara thing, which is the Asylum of the Daleks, which was an amazing episode.
I don't think it was amazing. It was good, but it was very disappointing because of all the hype they surrounded around it.
Well, the notion of getting to see the classic Daleks would have been really cool, and it is.
Why do you bother getting all these classic Daleks, then painting them all the same damn color and shoving them in the background?
Yeah, I agree. I'm not gonna.
But I thought it was still a good episode.
Yeah, but it's tough. I mean, this season had some good ones. I'm trying to think about the other ones.
See, Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, the Western one.
Oh, A Town Called Mercy, really good episode.
Town Called Mercy, Power of Three.
Power of Three was okay.
Power of Three was okay. Had a very lackluster ending.
I like Kate Stewart, who's going to be in the upcoming 50th.
Which one's Kate Stewart? Oh, the Brigadier's daughter. Yes. Love her.
We should probably mention, Lewis and I are classic Doctor Who fans. We've been way before the revised series. We were fans.
I've been watching Doctor since I was 3 years old.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I remember growing up with Tom Baker reruns. and then and then kind of phasing out of Doctor Who, and then watching, and kind of getting back into it with Sylvester McCoy.
Sylvester McCoy was my Doctor for me.
And then kind of reinvesting in everybody. I mean, getting into Sylvester McCoy, getting into going back into Tom Baker, going into Peter Davidson, Patrick Troughton, John Pertwee. I remember watching all the classic series, and I remember really getting excited when the 1996 TV movie was coming out.
I still love me too. And bear in mind, for those of you who have seen, who were disappointed by the 1986 movie, bear in mind, we were children, and there had been no new Doctor Who for years. So seeing any new Doctor Who was still awesome.
And we hadn't seen everything. I mean, we still to this day haven't seen every episode of Doctor Who. I mean, but we've seen enough, and we love the audio dramas, and we love all that. So getting new television Doctor Who, I mean, after a hiatus of almost 7 years of no Doctor Who, it was great. And to have a new Doctor and to have great characters back, and then and then in 2005 when the show came back, we were really excited. When the first episode got released, it was it got leaked on the internet, which is awesome. I got a copy of a torrent of it pretty quickly.
Actually, encourage piracy.
Well, it was really funny because actually I remember meeting, because I was in England in 2005 before the new series came out. Like, we knew the new series was coming, and I actually met, because I went to the Who shop the night that they had locked up the Who shop, the Doctor Who shop, which is in East Ham in London, which is like the only it's like a museum / retail store for Doctor Who. And members of the BBC had actually come to the store to let them see the first episode, let them see the Christopher Eccleston episode called Rose. And actually, me and my friend, we had gone to England to because it was a school trip, and I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, so I had to go see the Who shop, and we went there and the doors were locked, even though the store should have been open, and the reason why was because they were previewing the episode. So I talked to the people there, and they just finished, and they were talking about it with these BBC execs. And these BBC, I don't know if they were execs, they were BBC representatives, and I actually got them to let us in. So let us into the store, because we were from America, we were all from Minnesota in America. So let us in. I mean, they'd already watched the episode, and they were like kind of talking about it, but they couldn't want to give anything away. But they were like, it's like Doctor Who, the Next Generation kind of thing, is what they would say, and they were really excited about it. And I was like, oh, I'm so jealous. And then about 3 months later, I got the torrent of it. But that was about 4. But yeah, it was great to just see that kind of fandom, and also get to see these BBC people, and get to talk to them. It's like, I'm really excited.
And you got the question mark jumper, which you gave to me later.
Yep. And but no, I mean, it was so much fun to be in England. Right around that time of the Doctor Who's revival, and I was in England 5 years later on my honeymoon, and it was just after 2010 when Doctor Who had already come back, and just all of the fans, seeing all the stuff in England. I mean, just seeing how London had changed, because there was new stores and posters and things like that all over. I mean, billboards all over London because of Doctor Who's return. And
you got to see the last functioning police box.
I saw that actually back when I was there in 2005. So it was really cool. I mean, so I'm a huge Doctor Who fan. I'm going there. But so let's talk about the season finale. We right in the opening of the episode, we get the explanation of who Clara is.
Sort of. We get half the explanation. We reveal that she's been around a lot, that the Doctor has met her more times than that.
Then he realizes, and that she's the girl, the impossible girl born to save the Doctor.
Oh, you know what? So no one has spoiled the episode for me on Twitter, but they said there was something that would piss a lot of people off, and I get now what it is, and
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
As somebody who's done a lot of green screen effects and done a lot of chroma and special effects that involve editing yourself back into footage,
some of those were really well integrated. Some of them were really not. We see Clara not exactly encounter, but seeing a few of the Doctors at least. Then passing her by. This was some Forrest Gump stuff going on here.
It was. The first Doctor integration I thought was great.
The first Doctor integration was probably the best, which is really surprising, actually, that it was so well integrated.
The sixth Doctor integration is a cheat, because it's not really Colin Baker. It's an extra wearing the costume in the background, walking past. And it's a great cheat because it works.
Especially when you consider how Colin regenerated into Syl.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're never going to put Colin back back. So that was really good. The Patrick Troughton in the Eddie coat, which I think those clips were from Five Doctors, unless they're colorized versions of the Abominable Snowman, was terrible. It was
very obviously green screen and very badly green screen.
The Clara with Bessie driving by,
pretty good. It was obviously stock footage, but
yeah, there was a lot of stock footage usage, like the Sylvester McCoy from Dragonfire, Peter Davidson from, is that the Arc of Infinity? Is that what that is?
Might have been. I can't remember his clip.
It's from the Omega repeat.
Tom Baker's was
because he's trapped in the Matrix because Peter Davidson trapped.
That's right. That's right. Tom Baker's was half well integrated, half not. When they show the clip again, there's a visible distortion line, probably with how they stretch the video footage.
Yeah, it's
So that shame on you for that, by the way.
But it was still good.
It was still good.
Yes, the first Doctor thing is probably the best, followed up by the Colin cheat, and then the ending of the episode where they're all extras wearing costumes, where all you're seeing is the backs of each of them, which is a cute trick. I mean,
I think we did we say spoiler warning for this?
Oh,
no, we did. Okay,
yeah, we said spoiler.
I forgot that.
Spoiler. So. Yeah, the end of the episode with the ghosts of the Doctor's past, beautiful.
Very well done.
I like that it was River's song after she had died.
Yeah, I wasn't entirely clear about that. I wasn't sure if they
Well,
it seemed very iffy about if this was
initially, but in the end they say
it seemed to be, yeah.
Initially, you're not sure where she is in the Doctor's timeline, and then they say it. She's dead.
She's in the library.
She's in the library, like like a book on a shelf. And she's the conference calls from her dead, and the fact that the Doctor always sees her, was really good. And he stops her from slapping. I mean, the amount, that was really good.
And of course, a great line. Considering I'm the only one who could see you, I wonder how this much looked to.
Oh, that was so funny after he kisses her, and how nobody else in the room can see River except him, and how this looks. And Lewis actually said the line almost like verbatim. You'd almost said the line.
How does this look to them?
How does this look to them? And it was so funny, and I'm like waiting for it because it was like after Lewis said that, it was like 3 seconds later the line, and I'm laughing because it's like Lewis called it.
I didn't exactly call. I stopped a few times because I thought they were, because I kept thinking they were going to go in a certain direction and didn't. I thought the Doctor's name would be on his gravestone because Moffat has this thing with poems and rhymes. I don't know why. He loves using them.
All the Whispermen are telling rhymes, and
and there's this
the man who lies will lie no more when he lays down at Trenzalore. I mean, it was
And he does this thing, and there's a madman early on that basically that says this line about the Doctor's grave, and
the grave is revealed.
Yeah,
or his greatest secret is he'll take to his grave, which is revealed, and you think it's the secret that's being revealed. No, it's the grave that the Doctor's tomb has been found on Trenzalore.
And I thought the name of the Doctor would be a misnomer, but it's the last line of the episode, and it's really well done. Not the actual name, but the way he says it. You're the one who didn't deserve the name of the Doctor.
So there have been massive amounts of rumors and speculation and leaks revolving around John Hurt. John Hurt is an amazing British actor. Most people probably haven't seen most of his work. The work I really enjoyed him in, that I actually only recognize because I haven't seen a lot of his work, was his work in V for Vendetta.
I, of course, recognize him from Alien and a few other things.
Yep, that's right, he's in Alien too. He's an amazing actor, and he's great. He's just got, I think, awarded a BAFTA Lifetime Achievement Award. Mm-hmm. So the rumor has been that he would be playing the Doctor in the 50th anniversary. They didn't say he was going to be in this episode, but he is in this episode, at the end of the episode. And it's the big spoiler reveal. It's whoa, holy shit kind of moment. And
Whereas there's still speculation about it because one of the rumors has been that he would
we don't know. We just know he is the Doctor.
One of the rumors has been that he would be Christopher Eccleston's ninth Doctor because Eccleston and Moffat weren't able to come to an agreement.
Or the other version of that I've heard is he's an old eighth Doctor. He's Paul aged, which would be really stupid too. The best rumor, the best theory right now I've heard is that he is the regeneration between Paul and Christopher Eccleston that nobody knew about.
Which I hope it is not.
He's the Time War Doctor. He's the Doctor who actually went through the Time War. Paul did not go through the real time, the open Time War.
Yeah, it's always been speculated, especially since the first episode of the revived series, that Christopher Eccleston has just recently regenerated from the Time War. And we've always meant that to assume that the Eighth Doctor, Paul McGann, has been heading towards that.
But what if the secret is that that there's a lost regeneration, that is responsible for killing the Time Lords, killing everything, and
yeah, I'm not in favor of that theory if it is true, which I really hope it is not. It doesn't make much sense.
And the one thing that makes this theory look possible, and I hate to say this to Lewis because I know he's not a fan of this idea, is that there's a clip from filming, with Matt Smith and David Tennant in the background and John Hurt in the foreground. John Hurt is wearing a costume that is halfway Eighth Doctor and half Doctor of the current. Well, what we know is he's wearing the kind of the vest Victorian ascot of 8, but he's wearing the leather jacket of 9.
Which I know Paul McGann has in the audio dramas, even though they're technically audio dramas, he does have a costume that's more resembling Christopher Eccleston's.
Different, but yeah. But if you're going to go with the TV series only, this costume that John Hurt's wearing is the in-between. I mean, it is literally the in-between costumes of 8 and 9, which would be really weird given the fact that most of the costumes usually evolve and change. They're not like
they're passed on from one to the next. They're not
passed on, but it is kind of weird that John Hurt would be wearing a pseudo 8th, pseudo 9th. The combination of the two, which aren't really alike, but so when you see them, they look really weird on John Hurt.
I really hope this is not the thing, because it's part of this has been the big secret of the Doctor. Why is this that big a secret? We already know what the Doctor did to destroy. He destroyed the Time Lords. He killed everyone, and he feels bad about that. But that's not as great a secret. Everybody knows that.
So, the other possible theory is, there's two others. There's that he is a Zero Doctor. He is a precursor to the First Doctor. He's the oldest of the past.
Yeah, not necessarily first regeneration, but whoever he was beforehand. If you've seen Nash's video about the Cartmel Master Plan, you probably are familiar with the idea of the Other. Yep.
Or the Lungbarrow story.
Yeah.
It's possible that he is the Doctor prior, which, again, given the fact that Matt knows that the Matt's 11th Doctor knows who the John Hurt Doctor is, it's more likely that John Hurt's Doctor is a previous incarnation, whether it be the Zero Doctor or the in between,
or the actual,
or the true Ninth Doctor, or the other theory, which I kind of like, and Lewis and I both kind of thought would be really the best one, is that John Hurt is the Valeyard. Is that he is the 12th or 13th incarnation.
And while it could be fan service, but the Richard E. Grant in this one does acknowledge that one of the names of the Doctor is the Valeyard.
Yep. And because Colin's Doctor met the Valeyard, it's possible that that's how Matt knows who John Hurt's Doctor is. He knows who the so that's how we can acknowledge his, despite the fact that it's his future, but it's not knowing his past. Or his past, he met his future in his past, so that's timey-wimey.
Doctor has seen future echoes of himself before.
Well, yeah, and then you've got like the Dream Lord from was that season 6?
Yeah, I think so.
Amy's Choice, yeah.
Or was it season 5? I think it's season 5.
Okay.
I can't remember. Don't worry about it. Not important.
So this season has been kind of uneven. I agree. Great way to end, though. I told Lewis before he watched it, I was kind of mean to him. I like to spoil things for my little brother because I'm a horrible, horrible person. I said to Lewis that this is part 1 of the 50th anniversary. I actually don't call this the season finale. I call this part 1 of the 50th anniversary because you've got so many references to the classic series, and because you've got these clips, and because you have this, and you have the John Hurt character, which is obviously going to be explored more in the 50th anniversary.
Yeah, the John Hurt reveal leads up to.
You just know that this is really. I treat this more like part 1 of the 50th anniversary.
I can see that. I don't necessarily think that it's still a fairly complete story in and of itself, though.
Yeah, because it ties up the Clara arc.
And Clara's explanation, I like that. I was worried it wasn't going to make any damn bit of sense, but
I had heard that this is what earlier in the week I'd heard that this is who she was. And
I kind of like that idea that a Time Lord, when they die, finally die, they're what basically remains is their entirety of their timeline. It's kind of an interesting concept, and it would explain why it needs to be kept locked away.
Yeah.
And why another reason why Time Lords wouldn't want anyone to leave Gallifrey.
What did you think of the giant TARDIS tomb thing?
It made sense with how he explained it, that when a TARDIS is dying, that the interior dimensions can kind of go out in the exterior.
Outward. The exterior dimension grows because it's trying to accommodate the interior now.
And that makes sense. We've seen the TARDIS has kind of sort of started dying before, and we've seen that it doesn't. That it kind of needs the Time Lord it's attached to.
Well, there was that 5th Doctor episode where it exploded all over. It was there were bits of the TARDIS all over the planet or whatever. I'm trying to remember that one where there's walls and things like that.
I cannot quite remember that one. I have vague memory.
And they're kind of like sort of putting it together and things like that. And the hat stand is really involved a lot. I don't know. It's in the end of the episode. I don't remember the episode. It's been so long.
Now, the thing that I think that's pissing off everybody
is the notion of Hurt being the in-between, right?
No. The thing that I think pisses people off is Clara pointing the first Doctor to which TARDIS to take.
Really?
I think that, because it's kind of been established before how the first Doctor found this one, it's unlocked.
Oh, yeah, when the Doctor's wife... Yeah, that kind of ruins the Doctor's wife, that it was the one that was unlocked. Yeah, and the pre-chameleon circuited TARDIS appearance, which I think we'd seen in comic books or something like that.
That's fine. That's fine. I think we saw it in the War Games too.
I agree that it would.
I don't mind the appearance. I think it's the Clara thing. The Clara points the first Doctor to that particular one. That's the.
But it also kind of makes sense that the TARDIS doesn't like her because she's a never-ending paradox.
That's true.
So I get that. I don't like... Yeah, I think I like the idea that the TARDIS... I like that line on the Doctor's wife where it's like, no, I chose... What makes you think you chose me? I chose you.
Yeah, so I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, we saw Susan stepping into that TARDIS, so maybe the Doctor said, screw that, I'm taking this one.
Which kind of ends the Lungborough thing where is she really the granddaughter? Yeah, it's like, yes, she really is the granddaughter.
Well, all we know is that Susan and the Doctor stepped into a TARDIS. They
left Gallifrey together.
Yeah, we don't know anything else about
it. Well, one of the Lungborough plots was that she really wasn't, that she was human. That she was a crazy human girl.
No. I thought the explanation was that she was the granddaughter of the other, except she got spun into the loom stuff. I think the loom thing is stupid.
Well, maybe I'm confusing the Lungborough thing with the Nth Doctor because there was some other stuff there.
I gotta reread the Nth Doctor. There was some weird stuff in the Nth Doctor.
Well, then there's the 8 Doctors, and then there's...
Well, 8 Doctors is just a good story overall.
What's that one? What's that Dalek one? Where Susan kills the Master.
Legacy of the Daleks?
Yeah, that's a good one. Good book. Good 8th Doctor book.
Which has been kind of discounted as continuity because 8th Doctor's met Susan in the audio drama.
Yes, but it was so great to see... Susan's the one who destroys the Robert DeLego Master, though.
Delgado Master, yeah.
Yeah, with pure, with just pure telepathic force, she rips him. She's how the Delgado Master becomes crispy or bubbly,
gooey
in the Deadly Assassin, which is really good. Which I don't know if it's the invasion. I think it's the invasion of time. That's what it is. It's not the Deadly Assassin. It's the invasion of time.
Yeah, with the Sontarans on Gallifrey.
No. Where the Tom Baker clip is from.
Yeah, where the Tom Baker book.
I was trying to remember this earlier with somebody. I was talking to somebody earlier about this. And I'm like, it's not the Deadly Assassin, it's the Invasion of Time.
Yep.
Which is a good story, stupid story. Well, and a lot of people don't like that story because, and that's part of the reason why they had Journey to the Center of the TARDIS, because they thought that the Invasion of Time, which features wandering around the TARDIS, which really ended up being wandering around an abandoned hospital.
It's a good story, just low production values kind of hamper it.
Yeah. And now you get to see the Journey to the Center of the TARDIS, which I love how there was callbacks to that in this episode.
Like I said, stuff you didn't realize was part of the myth arc actually turned out to be part of the myth arc.
Yep.
Which I like that because, like I said, it's been part of a problem that the season has felt less focused because it didn't have a myth arc overall in the season.
Yeah, I agree with you. This season's been very uneven. I hated the Ring of Akaban. I thought I'd seen that episode already before. It was called the Satan Pit, or the second episode of End of the World.
End of the World.
From Christopher Eccleston's.
People had this theory that Clara was Rose, or at least connected to Rose, because they were kind of mirroring imagery.
Or she was Bad Wolf. That was the other thing I'd heard. Ugh. Which kind of she was.
In a different way.
Yeah, I know. But
much better explained way than
it's
glowy Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was about to say. I love it when you take the words from my mouth. That was exactly what I was going to say. I like it that it wasn't the Russell T. Deus Ex Machina. Yeah, it's so funny because I really, really like where the concept of this. I don't anything about the John Hurt Doctor. I think is really, the only thing why I'm upset about the John Hurt Doctor concept is they're not going to be able to bring his character fully to light. I mean, it's going to be really hard to it's kind of like Paul because Paul gets a really kind of a bad rap because he only gets one television movie. Now, granted, Paul's made up for it in all these audio dramas, all this stuff. John Hurt, I don't think is the kind of actor who's going to keep pursuing all of do all of the John Hurt stories, kind of like Paul did. So it's a little bit of a bummer that you're really not going to see. You're not going to really flesh out his doctor.
Assuming he really is a doctor, so to speak. Although the ending,
I heard also that he was going to be part of the Doctor, not the Doctor. But
in the ending text of the episode is and introducing John Hurt as the Doctor.
Yeah, so I mean, to me, that's the Doctor. I'm a little bummed because, and this is the same thing. I've written this before, and I wrote this on Facebook actually the other day. I'm a little annoyed because with Christopher Eccleston because he doesn't want to ever go back and play the part again. He's actually said in interviews he will not go back to the 50th anniversary.
He keeps flip flopping on it. I know he was in talks with Moffat over it.
No. What I've actually seen in the interview is he feels that his part was done, and that he does not want to go back. And it really bums me out because you've got like all of these other actors who have come back and done more stories and done things. And actually, we're going to get a great Big Finish audio story with 4 through 8.
And technically, the first 3, I think they're going to do something with them too, like archive footage or something.
Yeah, because the Big Finish story is going to have is all 4 of them doing an audio story together with a plethora of companions,
which I'm really looking forward to because we get dang, I forgot her name. Charlie. Yes,
Charlie will be back.
I like Charlie. Charlie's my favorite.
Charlie is a very weird companion. If you don't follow the audio dramas, Charlie's a companion of the 8th Doctor who ends with the 6th Doctor.
It's weird.
And
her story ends so sadly. Not like really depressingly sadly, but kind of disappointing sad because I know that there could still be more.
Yeah, so I'm kind of excited about that too.
Yeah.
But what I was getting, my point was that Christopher Eccleston, kind of rolling himself out of the Doctor when you've got everybody else still coming back. You have David Tennant coming back for the 50th. You've got Paul McGann's still doing audio stories after he'd only done one movie. I mean, he became indoctored in the legacy and the pantheon, as I think what he said in an interview that he's part of the pantheon. That's why he does it. Sylvester McCoy still doing it, even though he's doing all sorts of other stuff now. Colin Baker completely got
a bad rap on the TV series.
If you think about it, Colin Baker was the only Doctor to be fired. Didn't do his regeneration scene. Thought he was going to come back. Fought cancellation. I mean, he only really was the Doctor for effectively 2 years worth of shows because his middle year was on hiatus. And he's also responsible for one of the worst albums ever made in history. for a Save the Doctor audio. If you can watch it on YouTube, it's really bad. I just discovered it the other day. It is bad.
Was it like Time Lord in Trouble or something?
It's like Dr. SOS. It's really bad. But it has Anthony Ailey and Nicholas Courtney in it. It's like speaking a line in the song, not singing, but speaking. It's really
Yay!
it's
so yeah, Colin kind of got screwed over.
And again, Colin was fired, and Colin regrets the coat. I mean, that was a Nathan Turner decision.
I'm the only person who loves that coat.
I love the coat, but really, it does explain why Colin was Colin got a better rap. And the personality and things like that. You needed to flesh him out, and so again, he really should have just wiped himself away from the series and said this was a terrible decision. And what has he done? He's come back. He's arguably one of the strongest Doctors in the audio series. They've evolved his character. They've done amazing things with him. Like I said, that we mentioned the Charlie thing earlier. He has a companion that's an older woman, older than Donna. As a companion.
She's an old lady.
An old lady.
She has heart problems,
and she's amazing as a companion.
Evelyn Smythe.
I love Evelyn. So Colin's come back and really, really made up for it. Peter Davidson has come back.
Tom has come back.
And like I said, Tom, who is an egomaniac. I always compare Tom as the British Bill Shatner. Tom has come back in that audio, so he didn't initially do it, but now he's doing it. They're making him phone him in. He actually has a recording studio down near his home, as opposed to going up to film to record with the other guys. But he did it. And all the others actually for the 50th audio, they all came down to him, and they were all in the room. Paul even said in an interview he was in the room with Tom. He's never worked with Tom. It's amazing. So yeah, I mean, like I said, but the point of this, which got off into weird ass tangent, is that
Eccleston, just do it.
Eccleston is really doing himself a disservice, and it's kind of doing the fans a disservice because again, these other again, and I'm sorry, Chris, but Colin got screwed out of a year, got fired from the job, and is still doing stuff today. Is still a doctor today, despite the fact that he looks nothing like he did back in the 80s.
Well, it's like 30 years later.
So, yeah, Chris is kind of a douche on this stuff, and I like Chris Eccleston.
I have heard rumors that Moffat is actually being...
And I'm looking forward to seeing him in Thor Dark World, but which we talked about in the Star Trek.
Yeah, I've heard that Moffat can be hard to work with, and that's why...
I'm wearing the shirt. I love it, because I'm wearing the Regenerate. Chris, dude, work with these guys. No,
we're Doctor Who fans. So anyway, let's get back to the episode itself. Good stuff.
Oh, I just want to say that I kind of feel like that's going to be where John Hurt's not going to get a fully fleshed character because, especially given the fact that, let's face it, if David and Matt are both on screen, John's not going to get that much screen time.
Yeah, Our dad hates Matt Smith, but he's kind of right about one thing. When David Tennant enters a scene, he owns the room, and Matt Smith has been getting better about that. So when the two of them are together, they are going to be the center of attention.
Well, and to be fair, they're not going to write it so David is a stronger doctor. They're not. They can't because David's not coming back to the world. I mean, but again, unless John Hurt's the bad guy.
I can't remember. Did they say what the bad guy's supposed to be in the 50th?
Well, we know there's Daleks, we know there's Cybermen, and we know there's Zygons.
Oh, that's right. I still don't understand the popularity of the Zygons.
I do. They were awesome.
They were okay, and they were good in the story they were in.
They were a cool concept. They were a lot of fun for the art department. They were an interesting concept. The Loch Ness Monster thing was a little stupid, but, we'll get over it. The Zygons are awesome.
I don't get it. I don't see it.
I like the Zygons.
I think they're fine. I just don't get why they're so enduringly popular. Okay, but then again, that's a lot with a bunch of monsters.
They're a good enemy to bring back, though. They're a good monster and alien to bring back from the old series. Because we've already brought back the Centaurans. We brought back
the Ice Warriors this season.
Yeah, the Ice Warriors, the Silurians. I'm trying to think. What else have we?
Silurians were kind of iffy, which brings us again back to this episode. I thought that that was I was trying to go. The problem I think with this episode is that Jenny, Strax, and Madame Vastra are very underutilized in this episode. And they seem to just stand off to the side and not do anything, especially when people are shouting out, "Stop the great intelligence from entering the time stream!" To tell you people do it, you're just standing there.
I had that same thought. I'm not going to lie on that one. But I will say this: I liked the conference call concept. I liked I liked River Song. I'm glad they brought back River Song for one more. Hopefully they're not going to use her again. But
I know a lot of my compatriots on That Guy with the Glasses don't like River Song. I like her just fine.
I love Alex Hansen as an actress. She's amazing. I loved her in Arrow with John Barrowman too. It's great to watch that Green Arrow series.
Well, that's another thing. And we don't have Captain Jack in the 50th
or Freeman Agyeman. So it's good. Like I said, I like Alex Hansen a lot.
I suppose it would be difficult to bring them all together. I mean, I like The Stolen Earth and what was the second part of Stolen Earth?
Journey's End.
Journey's End. I like those episodes, but it is a bit bloated with all of them on screen.
Oh, but it worked well.
It did.
It was a lot of fun. It was the Jay and Silent Bob of Doctor Who. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, which is basically a party movie. Of all these actors. But at least this had more of a plot. It's getting back to the season finale, or as I'm calling it, 50th anniversary part 1. The story is a little weak. I'm not gonna lie. It's really not a whole lot of drama. Somebody is kidnapping the Doctor's friends, and the Great Intelligence is kidnapping the Doctor's friends, and they must go to Trenzalore. The Doctor's great. Okay, great, whatever.
The Doctor is
the concept of it's got that I'm going to rewrite the Doctor's time. I mean, it's got to be an epic. All the season finales have got to be this goofy epic thing that's really endangering the universe or whatever. Yeah, okay, great. It's a different twist on how to endanger the universe. Kill the Doctor.
Screw the Doctor's timeline repeatedly throughout history.
Yeah, it's a weak story. The concept is interesting to look at, though.
And Matt plays it very well.
Clara is great. The character of Clara, while kind of predictable, was awesome to see. I agree with Lewis that our Victorian compatriots really are underutilized. They could. Honest to God, I'm really surprised they didn't do. I was kind of hoping the Crimson Horror would be this, and it was like halfway there. But you remember David Tennant's era? We had the episode like Love and Monsters, or
a Dr. Light story,
or Blink, or where you very, very Dr. Light, or Turn Left. And I think you could do that kind of style story, and it would be even amazing with Strax, Jenny, and Madame Vastra, because again, they're already kind of established heroes. It kind of reminds me of the audio drama series they did with the two guys from the Talons of Wang Chiang. Mm-hmm. Because they've done like 4 stories, I think, with it. The Lightfoot and whatever. Those two characters in Victorian London, they did a good story with them. Like, I think you could do that kind of style detective story, slight alien to. I mean, the Crimson Horror could have been this. I mean, you didn't need the Doctor in the Crimson Horror. I mean, and you don't have him in there for the whole thing. But
I think it's
once he's back up to full form, the Doctor just owns the episode. And again, it would have been so cool to do a story with the 3 of them.
I think because of the split production, they don't have the same problem they've had in previous seasons.
Sure,
where they've had to do those episodes in order to save on production costs.
But again, you're right though. In this episode, they were really underutilized. I mean, the Crimson Horror, at least they actually served a purpose. This story, they are not used at all. I mean, very well. They're just there as people that could be kidnapped. And the other thing that doesn't make a whole lot. I mean, I like the Whispermen. The Whispermen were cool as a villain.
They're creepy.
So here's what's weird: is the Great Intelligence a time traveler? He kind of has to be at this point because he's stopped in 1893. We see him in the future with Clara's first episode, and now we see him back taking over with the Whispermen, grabbing them and all going to Trenzalore. Which, how does he get to Trenzalore? We don't know. I mean,
so
it doesn't make sense that he's in the future, but he died in the or he got weakened in the past. There's the whole stuff with the Second Doctor, which
we're still not sure when that happens in the Great Intelligence's timeline.
So you're sitting there and you're wondering, like I said, going back to the 3 of them and kidnapping them right in their own time, really kind of bad. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, it was fun to put them in the episode, but sometimes this is one of the things that I don't like about modern Doctor Who. There's a lot more plot holes. than there was in the past. Like, the past does a lot of good stuff to trying to avoid plot holes. I mean, yes, there are some, but they try really hard to avoid the plot hole. And versus what would be kind of Channel Awesome's motto, which is basically, no, the plot hole's there. That's how everything doesn't make any sense. I'm not part of Channel Awesome, so I can say that. But it's like it almost feels like eventually the Doctor Who's going to need the plot hole as a convenience item, because it's like, plot hole. That's why nothing makes any continuity sense.
Time keeps getting rewritten, cracks in time.
Yeah.
Did you like the episode, though?
Yeah, but why I liked it, it's a weak episode from a storytelling perspective. I like it as fan service. I mean, it just, if anything, I like this more as fan service than I did Star Trek Into Darkness, because one of the things that modern Doctor Who has not done very well is given us really good fan service to the original series.
It's given nods. Every
nods here and there.
Every episode in the second half of season 7 has had references to the original series.
Yeah, and I kind of like that. But they really, I mean, editing stuff into the clips. I mean, the one thing we don't really have, like that Star Trek has, the Deep Space Nine episode
Trials and Tribulations.
Trials and Tribulations. We don't have a Doctor Who equivalent of that until this is the closest thing we've ever gotten to a going, especially in a time travel show, you could go back into the Doctor's personal timeline and then to kind of fuse clips together. This is the closest thing we've had. And for the most, I mean, despite the minor exceptions we had earlier, this works really well. And I'm really pleased with it. From a production standpoint and from a concept standpoint, it's a terrible story, but
I don't say it's a terrible story. I think it's a weaker story. It's a very light story for a season finale.
Mm-hmm. It's very light, but oh man, there's great bits. I mean, the all the extras playing the previous Doctors, and you see in the back, and they're all running by. It just gives me goosebumps. Colin Baker, the guy who's doing the Colin Baker walking by, the first Doctor thing, the flashback to Gallifrey long time ago.
That was probably the best bits, and I was kind of squeeing when I first saw that.
I know,
so I was feeling an old Type 40.
Oh, no. Well, no, it was who? What kind of idiot would steal a faulty TARDIS? And you're just like, oh my god, I mean, it's awesome.
Pull back to the Glass City.
Yeah, because you don't know, because you think, because you're like, okay, it's two guys in kind of a junk heap, and you don't know like what this is. It kind of reminds you a little bit of the Journey to the Center of the TARDIS. The guy, it's a little bit like that. But then when you pull back out of their area and you see it's the Citadel on Gallifrey, and you're like, and then the caption, along Gallifrey, along time, you're like, dude, I mean, it's fan service. It is really well done fan service.
No, it's all building up to our 50th anniversary.
Oh, that's why I'm saying it's 50th anniversary Pearl.
Yep.
What do you think? I mean,
I liked the episode. Like I said, my biggest problem was the weakness of Jenny Strax and Madame Vastra, who were just stand there and let all this crap happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, we know the Whispermen can reach in and grab their hearts or something, but they didn't even try.
Well, and they didn't really establish what the Whispermen were.
Yeah, they seem to be just physical manifestations for the intelligence to take a hold of.
And I also thought they would be covering more, explaining I don't know. I thought they would explain a little bit more, the fall of the 11th in the fields of Trenzalore. I mean, the whole thing that Dorian brings up, I thought that would be explained a little bit more.
Yeah, we still haven't seen that. We still haven't had...
It was a little weak, comparatively.
We still haven't had Dorian warned him about that he could not...
And it was the answer to the question. I mean, and this was not that.
This was not the answer to that. It wasn't really. Maybe this is something that's expanded upon in the actual 50th anniversary.
Unless the secret is really the nameless Doctor. I mean, maybe that's a better character name for him. It should be the nameless Doctor. It's the Doctor or the Forgotten Doctor or the Lost Doctor or
John Hurt.
Yeah, we love John Hurt.
I'll just call him John Hurt.
And I'm really looking forward to this. The line is amazing. What I did with no choice. I had no choice, and I'm trying to remember now. I had no, because I've watched this scene like 6 times now. I did with no choice. I did for peace, and I did for sanity. But and then Matt going, yeah, but you did it, but you didn't do it in the name of the Doctor.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because of John Hurt and a John Hurt reference. There's this, if you haven't seen it, Lupa and Phalis did this Let's Play of a game called Tender Loving Care. It's kind of a FMV game, but John Hurt periodically appears on screen to explain the events of the movie as it's going along, and then to give the viewer quizzes. So now I just have this image in my head of John Hurt turning around and going to speak to the audience. What do you think the Doctor's name should be? Should it be A?
Well, it was a little, and honestly, it was a little weird to do. And I understand why they did it, because how else were they gonna just make you go, huh? What? Yeah. But the actually introducing actually kind of breaking the fourth wall in the captioning, and saying introducing John Hurt as the Doctor, and you're just like, huh? What? I mean. It would have been, I think, far more interesting to not say anything. I think it would have been better to just and then leave us all wondering on the cliffhanger. Did they need to say introducing John Hurt as the Doctor?
I think they did, because otherwise it's just like, oh, it's John Hurt. Okay, what?
Yeah, I would have liked that. I would have liked because
I think it would just leave people confused as opposed to wanting to know more. It's just like.
Because you're not confused by John Hurt as the Doctor.
Yes, but that makes me more excited to find out the answers. Not having anything there just kind of is it like, oh, it's John Hurt. Yeah. So why is this significant?
But Matt already said he was the Doctor. Or Matt said who he was.
He didn't really say it. All he said was he didn't do it in the name of the Doctor, and that could have meant anything.
But when Clara asked who he was, Clara said that he's the one who broke broke the promise. That if the name is a promise, he's the one who broke it. He's me. I mean, because is what Matt Smith's Doctor said, is that he's me. Everyone here is me except you. Clara's the only one who's not the Doctor there. Everything, it's me. So he's the one that no one knows. He's the secret. The secret Doctor. I'd be even cool if they called him the secret Doctor.
I think, what I think they were trying to do? I think they were trying to originally make it look like that was Christopher Eccleston. So maybe there is something to the, he's actually the secret Doctor in between 8 and 9, because, from the way he was dressed, and... He did
look, like I said, the costume is very much an in between 8 and 9.
Although originally when I first saw him, I thought he was like the final regeneration. He was the because remember, this is supposed to be like the corpse of the Doctor in all his regenerations.
Yeah, I would be okay if he's the future. I would be really cool that he's the real future Doctor.
That's why.
Despite the fact that we did, what was that Christmas special called?
The Next Doctor.
The Next Doctor, which was weird.
Well, it wasn't really the Doctor. It was a guy who had been implanted with the Doctor's memory.
But I like the idea that John Hurt could be the real next Doctor.
Well,
or a possible Doctor.
John Hurt would make a bad Doctor, but I don't think it would happen in this day and age because we can't have old Doctors anymore.
Oh, maybe this is how you convince us you can.
There's a thought. Colin Baker ran into the fifth Doctor ran into Colin Baker on Gallifrey. Second Doctor ran into himself once. Trying to think, did any other Doctor actor run into his future incarnation before?
How did Patrick Troughton run into John Pertwee?
He didn't run into John Pertwee. He ran into another guy played by Patrick Troughton. It's a story called The Enemy of the World. Most of it is missing.
Oh, yes.
Salamander, I think his name was.
Yes, where the Doctor could pass off as this evil
Mexican guy.
The Salamander. Oh my God, that was bad. A regeneration that looked alike. Like, what thing we did that with Romana? I mean, the Romana 2 looked like...
Romana made more sense because she was just like, I like how this looks. And I've always taken the idea of if the regeneration isn't traumatic, like the Doctor's always is, then Time Lords have a lot more control over how they look.
Well, I mean, it stands to reason in an infinite universe that somebody's going to look... I mean, okay, it makes sense.
It's just you run into him that he's happening.
There was the guy who looked like
Then there was a guy who looked like the first Doctor as well. How can the same smeg happen twice? I think is that I'd ask after Brie put it.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're getting off tangent here. I don't know what else there is to say.
What do you think of Nightmare in Silver? Is something I was going to ask.
Nightmare in Silver was disappointing for a Neil Gaiman script. I thought it was okay. I liked Clara in it. I liked the new Cybermen. I didn't like Matt Smith as the Cyber Planner, or his performance there, because... Now, people say it's because, it's never assimilated the Doctor before, so it doesn't have any way to act. Except every single time we've seen the Cybermen reacting to emotional outbursts or going outside the plan, it doesn't...
Their heads explode.
Their heads explode, or they, try to reconfigure it. And I frankly think Matt Smith would have been much more menacing and cool if he underplayed it and let the normal Doctor be the one who was prancing and dancing around.
Yeah, it would have been nice if it was a much more colder performance and a much more emotionless performance versus a strong performance, which was kind of a bummer.
A lot of people called it pantomime or melodrama.
Well, okay, so the reason I bring it up, and you're is that Lewis has a box of
plushy Cybermats. Because I'm obsessed with Cybermats.
But the Cybermats are gone now. They've been upgraded to Cybermites.
Which I like, but I'm not building one.
Well, that'd be really hard to do with plot. Okay, but yeah.
I like the new conversion process. What I don't like is...
Resistance is futile. We are the Borg.
Yeah, at the same time, though, they're really... It's kind of odd in that way. I didn't like how the Cyberman in Pandorica Open said, "You will be assimilated." Look, we get it. The Borg ripped off the Cyberman, but don't rip him off back. I did like the Carnival guy with his half-converted face.
Yeah, what did you think of the...
The children are annoying.
The children were annoying. I know you talked about that before. The girl really...
She was very inconsistent in her characterization.
I liked the Emperor character. The
Warwick Davis.
Yeah, I liked him a lot. I like the character. I like where that went. And I like how you knew, but
it managed to fit a lot into a small amount of time. It feels like it should have.
It was actually fairly impressive. I mean, Gaiman actually was able to do a lot in a very little story. The concept of making the Cyberman really scary again, making a Cyberman who could keep upgrading himself.
I don't necessarily think it fully succeeded, but good effort, and I do like the new look.
They definitely felt like the Borg though, where they started adapting, and the speedy Cyberman, the Cyberman who can move, was cool,
and they can detach parts of themselves.
Yeah,
that was effective. I don't think he fully made them truly scary, but a lot of good concepts.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me a lot of Dalek. Where this thing that we'd seen forever and really is kind of ridiculous looking, was not that scary. And in Dalek,
they showed how effective it could be when at full power.
At full power, or is it starting to adapt and things like that? Like when you see it hovering the stairs, or you're seeing it melting the bullets. And when the scene for really does it for me is when it's in this narrow corridor and it's like, what's it going to do? Everybody's shooting from behind, and then the midsection rotates, which we've never seen a Dalek do before. And it just starts rotating and shooting around. Just the way it would think, and this battle machine was amazing. I mean, they made the Dalek scary, a modern Dalek scary again. And I thought this is the first time we've really seen the modern Cyberman. And they've been doing a good job making the Cyberman uniform and emotionless, and the way they move and things like that, doing that army thing. But they had never really done the true this is not they still felt like a different version of the classic series. Now granted, they looked good, but
they look more they more resemble Tomb of the Cybermen, which is what they were intended to do. Although me personally, my favorite Cybermen are the Earthshock through Silver Nemesis Cybermen, because to me they seemed like that's like the true cybernetic mixture. They still had emotions, but they worked hard to suppress them because they could get pissed off. They could express pleasure at victory, but they also said emotions are a weakness. We can't have that, and we are strong, and they have personality. All thanks to David Banks, in my opinion, with the greatest cyber leader voice. Betrayal will be fatal. We are invincible. Your weapons.
I just liked the fact that they were adapting, and that they were growing, and they were changing, and they were smart.
The Cybermen have always had this process of evolving and changing.
It was cool to see Cybus or Cybus or whatever
the Cybus logo gone.
Yeah, no. Well, to see those 3 that were there,
yeah,
and to watch them kind of get torn apart, and by what was clearly the Cybermen of our universe, the real Cybermen.
Well, to be fair, this is not the first time we've seen Mondas Cybermen in a while. The Mondas Cybermen have been in a few other stories. They just had the general look of the Cybus Cybermen because they couldn't afford to upgrade to build new costumes.
If you go with the Demon's Run one, yeah.
Demon's Run and Closing Time, because otherwise, how in the hell did the alternate universe Cybermen develop space travel and create an army?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. We have gotten real Cybermen.
We've had them for a few years. Every Matt Smith Cyberman appearance has been Mondas Cybermen.
Okay.
Except these just are a new look to better explain that these are indeed Mondas Cybermen.
Yeah. So yeah. Wow, this was going to be a vlog that was going to do the season finale, but I think this is a vlog about the whole season in general. I mean, like I said, it was very uneven, but it was really good. I appreciate you doing this.
No problem, sir. People can't get enough of me talking on Twitter about it, so now you can see me talk about it and stuff. And oh yes, another thing about the Cyber Planner thing, we've had a Cyber Planner before. He was it was emotionless. It was a big pyramid thing. It had a stupid voice.
What was his name?
The Invasion. Vaughn was talking. Had a Cyber Planner behind his office.
Oh yes, great episode. And the cool part is they restored the missing 2 episodes with animation. Really cool.
Oh, and Nightmare in Silver also explained the gold weakness a bit better.
I thought it was cool they brought back the gold weakness.
Yeah, we
had not seen the gold weakness in forever, and the fact that he used the golden ticket that he kept joking about as the weakness.
That was very nice.
I like
the problem. The people have always had this problem with this allergy to gold thing. Revenge of the Cybermen explained that it clogged up their breathing units, whereas Earthshock and Silver Nemesis, it was more like a vampire thing. Somehow you dig gold into them and somehow it screws them up. This makes a lot more sense, that actually the proximity of gold itself is like, putting a magnet up to a computer. It screws them up.
I still think Lady Penfold killing Cybermen with a golden arrow is awesome.
Oh yeah, I still love it. And frankly, it made
Ace with the slingshot.
It actually makes a lot of sense because the Silver Nemesis Cybermen, instead of having just that black grate, they actually have to have a metallic heart there.
Yeah, well, compared to
obviously there's something organic behind there.
Well, but you compare it to like the Revenge of the Cybermen, on Space Station Nova or Nerva, or was it Nova?
Nerva Beacon, I think.
Yeah, where they're like trying to grab them and dump the dust in them, and the Cybermen just beat the shit out of them.
Although it does have that amusing bit where like the Cyber leader grabs the 4th Doctor just like
and shakes him. Yeah, yeah. It does, and he drops the gold dust. I mean, versus like when you see like the golden ticket or Lady Penfold with arrows shooting at the Cybermen. I mean, there's a way to do gold killing Cybermen right, and there's a way to do gold killing Cybermen stupid. I mean, yes, of course they need to fail because it's like their weakness, but it's like okay, but it's like throw the gold dust or get some get a slingshot. The golden bullet, the golden gun. No, I'm just it's...
the glitter gun.
Oh, that's right.
That's how 4th Doctor explained that the Cyber Wars were being lost until they invented the glitter gun, which shot out gold dust.
But it makes sense.
It makes sense. It's just a really silly name.
It is a really silly name. I would love a glitter gun. That's fabulous. Now,
I think in Star Trek Online they have glitter guns whenever there's an anniversary.
Oh, is that what those are?
Yeah.
We are completely off topic now. We've completely gone around the bend.
This is what happens in our conversations.
Yes, it is.
We're nerds.
We are very nerds. Well, I'm glad that you liked it.
I'm glad that you liked it.
I thought the story was weak, but like I said, it was a good fan service to the classic series. And I felt like we hadn't had enough classic series references. I mean, and going in, and given the fact that we're going into a 50th anniversary, and what people don't like there's a lot of fans out there who are not classic series fans. They're only new series fans, and good for you. Eddie Doctor fan is a fan. And they know about the classic series, or it is really cool to think about it though. That this is a show that's existed since 1963, a concept that's existed, and and to go into the 50th anniversary for the show, I mean, it's huge undertaking, and it's amazing, and it hasn't just been around for 8 years. I mean, the new series has been around for 8 years. It's great, and I think all of the people who've done an amazing job with it. I love David Tennant. I love Matt Smith. Chris Eccleston was amazing, though I think he needs to come back. You need to remember that there's a legacy here that goes beyond those 8 years, and I feel like it's good to start seeing more of that. Remember that. I mean, I agree that this is kind of the what was said to me, Doctor Who: The Next Generation. It would be really cool to have, remember where we came from, and to really do that. And like I said, I would love a Trials and Tribulations. This is the closest that we've gotten to that so far. Trials and Tribulations episode, yeah.
That would be a great episode idea, though.
Mashing the old stuff with the new stuff, yeah.
Yep, integrating them somehow. It
like the doctor has to avoid his past timeline. Yeah. It's kind of like how the DS9 crew had to avoid. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. It would be difficult, especially with different aspect ratios. But they've usually managed to integrate the clips pretty well whenever they've done that. But anyway,
well, you cheat. You frame shots differently.
You do digital extensions of the borders.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it. You can cheat.
But anyway, there you go. Doctor Who, we like it. Looking forward to the 50th anniversary, November 23rd, 2013.
Part 2.
We done?
Are we?
Your video, your call.
Bye, everybody.